Tacking is that basic boat handling maneuver that has the largest impact on the team's overall race position. A team will likely tack more than all of their other boat handling operations combined, yet it's one boat handling maneuver that will slow the boat down even when executed to perfection. So a team needs to be careful and use its tacks only when absolutely necessary. Confidence and proficiency are the result of practice and can lead to tactical execution in the hot moments that count. Because the J105 is raced in conditions that vary from light air, where the boat struggles to accelerate, to breezy conditions, where keeping the boat under control is the name of the game, tacking becomes an art form that is based on the crew's ability to react to the conditions present at the moment of the tack. When well done, there's not much speed loss. But it's important to find a flat spot in the water to tack in and make sure the crew is always prepared to tack. Effective drivers establish organized and disciplined procedures in their activities. Rarely will a good driver stray from the same basic routine, because he or she must have some consistency with many inconsistent variables to deal with off the boat. And more importantly, the crew needs a steady tempo to key their own actions on. The key for the driver here is to recognize the three phases of the tack. The first phase of the tack, the boat turns slowly into the wind, trying to maintain the pull of the sails long into the tack. In the second phase, the boat loses the pull of the sails and the driver needs to push the boat through head to wind by using more helm. And in the third phase, the sails fill and the boat establishes a new close-hauled course for reacceleration. Generally, this new course leans on the footing end of close-hauled with sails eased an inch or two to get the boat back up to speed quickly. Here you can see 1999 J80 North American champion Roger Kagan demonstrating an excellent tack. His tack can be broken down into two separate procedures found in the same order in every tack regardless of the conditions. First and foremost, the driver must be driving and focused on the turn the boat makes. And the driver must shift his weight with the crew to either roll tack the boat or move in unison with the crew to the new windward side. While there is a temptation to stand when turning, it's really difficult to stay focused on the feel of the boat or to keep a solid perspective on the telltales or horizon, all of which aid in the driver's making the boat an extension of himself. Keying off landmarks you pick on shore, or simply the break of the jib and the main as they luff at head to wind, are ways you recognize how quickly you should move into the next stage of the tack. The main trimmer is always critical to the success on the J105. The main is a huge part of the horsepower in this sail plan, so the main trimmer has the responsibility of helping drive the boat through its maneuvers. The main trimmer has to be conscious of the boat's need to reaccelerate out of the tack and at the time at which the trim goes into either the accelerate, the fine-tune, or the point mode. Here you can see Dave Bonney demonstrating the main trimmer's role. He begins this procedure by trimming the main in to help the boat turn. Then he trims the traveler across as the boat breaks through head to wind. He then shifts his weight to the new side with the crew. Eases the main to help the boat accelerate on its new tack. The headsail trimmer is always critical to the success on a J105. He or she needs to have a systematic approach to the job with good communication to the driver and the main trimmer. Because the boat prefers to sail with the entire crew hiking out, he or she may need to trim the jib to a preset point, rough tune accelerating setting, and ask the main trimmer to step in and take a few turns on the winch later when the boat is up to speed, rather than take valuable weight off the rail. Some teams prefer to use this person as a tactician upwind because this role can focus on activity outside the boat pretty well on the upwind legs. Here you can see Brent Allen demonstrating the trimmer's role. He begins this procedure by rotating into the boat before the turn to open up the rail for the forward crew and prepare for trimming the jib. Uncleating the jib sheet and finding the lazy sheet to prepare for the tack. Cueing off the turn of the boat and the jib as it begins to luff, Brent releases as the jib breaks and the boat crosses head to wind. Keeping his head up and watching the sail he is affecting, Brent trims the new sheet on as he releases the old sheet. In medium air, he cleats the jib to the rough tune accelerating setting, while in heavy air he trims the sail to its all-purpose setting. He then jumps over the rail to a full height. In light airs, Brent stays near the winch to trim the entire time. To effectively do this job, the trimmer pulls all the slack out of the lazy sheet when loading the new winch and takes any extra wraps off the working winch just before the tack to ensure that the release goes cleanly. The mastman and 6 crew members, sometimes referred to as pit, will be the first onto the new rail. So it's their job to focus on the balance of the boat and pay attention to the fleet situations around, as they may develop quite quickly. Because of the squeeze on the rail, it's a good idea for these positions to bring one leg up to brace a foot for the jump as they feel the boat move into the turn. As the boat breaks through head to wind, they sprint for the new rail under the boom to concentrate on balancing the boat. For this reason, the trimmer should make sure the hatch is closed during the upwind leg. The bowman focuses on balancing the boat. She has to follow the mastman across, so coordination between these two becomes very important. Although her main role is primarily balancing the boat, she also watches for any problems with the jib sheet or spinnaker lines. Here, Townley Everett demonstrates the bowman's role, crossing the boat by duck diving the jib in the 6-person setup and crossing under the boom in the 5-person setup. The simple layout of the J105 can be deceiving in terms of its challenges. Tacking the boat may be easy to do, but tacking the boat really well is not so easy, since it requires rigid discipline in the routine. Because of the light sport boat design, a tack may be the only opportunity off the rail to grab a line or unfoul a sheet. So the crew members have to think on their feet and be proactive in preparing the boat for the next stage of the race, rather than buckling into a backseat ride.